Welcome to the Wellness for Women show, where we talk about life, weight loss and everything in between. I'm Faye Caseman, founder of the AAA Way Life and Weight Loss Programme, and I'm here to help you put together the pieces of life and weight loss for one last time. This is an episode of the Wellness for Women show, filmed live in the free Facebook group.
Hello, and welcome to episode number 86 of the Wellness for Women show. And so today we are talking about how to harness the power of your words for weight loss or your well-being, whatever you want to use the word. I always use weight loss in air quotes because life doesn't need to revolve around a number on a scale. In fact, it often shits out a number that doesn't really represent. Let's face it, it's not about us. It shouldn't mean that much about us. But obviously, if you are somebody who is working on changing your body, then you may well use weight as a metric, but it doesn't have to be the be all and end all. So anyway, I digress. So how often do you say a sentence that starts with I should, I must, or I need to? Do you sometimes find yourself saying, I don't know, or if only such and such was to happen? All perfectly normal words and phrases, right? And I've certainly done my fair share of using these words over the years. But since starting my mindfulness and well-being journey, I tried to change up the vocab once I realised that these innocent sounding everyday words and phrases were actually keeping me stuck. Keeping me sometimes in victim mode instead of being the creator of my life. And today I want to help you get lovingly curious about the words and phrases you use to see if they are taking away your power and leaving you, or are they leaving you supercharged and ready to go? So that you can ditch that life and diet drama. So the power of words. The earworms are out in full force as I was writing this show. Imagine The Power of Love by Jennifer Rush going for full belt in your head, but instead of love, I've got words, so the power of words. There's then an intermingling of Words Don't Come Easy to Me by F.R. David. Both, of course, are songs about love. What I would love for you going forward is that you pick your words with love. The words you choose to use literally could be shaping your perception, your reality. Think about it. Words have the power to either lift you up or bring you down, empower you or disempower you. And when we constantly use words and phrases such as I can't, I shouldn't, or why me, we unknowingly reinforce a mindset of limitation and sometimes self-pity. And these words can then hold us back from making positive changes in our lives because they're keeping us trapped in that victim mentality. On the other hand, when we choose empowering words and phrases like I am capable, I can figure it out, how can I ... or what can I learn from this? We shift into an empowered state of mind. And these words then inspire action, maybe inspire resilience and growth. And it's important to recognise that the language we use not only reflects our current state, but also has the potential to create our future experiences. Because words are not just empty sounds, they carry energy, they carry a vibration. And that can not only influence ourselves, but obviously those around us as well. You know, our family, our loved ones, our friends, the people we work with, the people that we serve, whether that be in our businesses or in our jobs. And as I said at the start, I've been there right at the thick of it, stuck in the cycle of I hate this, I must do that. And I've played the blame game and I felt resentment. And let me tell you, it's not a fun place to be. It's a place of restriction, a place of fear, and a place of frustration. And as I journeyed through and continue to journey through my weight loss and my well-being transformation, I've seen how these words and phrases have had a profound impact on my mindset and my actions. And then by starting to notice them with loving curiosity, I started to flip the script. My once negative Nancy stuck in Groundhog Day life became more positive, more purposeful, more forward thinking, and words have all given me the keys to freedom and a more empowered life. So let's unpack some of these words. So if you're watching live or watching replay, or there's a comment box somewhere around the podcast or YouTube, then drop a comment with regards to any common words or phrases you use And let's see if some of those match up with the ones that I'm going to share. And do you recognize the words that you write down as being disempowering or empowering? And maybe if you want to take this a little bit further, do a little exercise. Why not note down your words that you use for a day, for a few days, for a week, and actually see how you're actually talking to yourself, about your life, about others. And then lean into that and see how they actually feel. Do they feel good? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel disempowered? Do they make you feel rubbish? Because the words you use and the feelings they elicit, they're like these little windows into your inner world and about what you've got going on the inside. And that's then going to show up on your outside. So here's my list. First up, it's got to be the should. Are you shoulding on yourself? Should implies external expectation. It usually indicates a belief that there's been imposed on us by others or society, sometimes ourselves. It can make us feel like we're not in control of our choices. It also has sisters, have to and must, which also carry a sense of obligation. They can make you feel like you're being forced into actions that you perhaps don't really want. Next up is I need. This can imply a dependency on something external for our well-being, when in reality we have the power within us, or maybe it's an I need to, which is similar again to must or should, and it's again laced with that obligation. Again, these are all common words, they're common phrases that you could be using, and you perhaps don't realize how much power they have or could have or be having over you. And if they get left unchecked, they can lead to you feeling resistance, lead to you feeling resentment. And they also have a tendency to lead to a self beat down. And usually that you're not feeling like you're good enough, doing enough, being enough, whatever it might be, which is often not true. So how do they feel to you? How do these feel to you? These are some examples. I must exercise today. Have to stay within my calorie range. I should listen to my body. I need to lose weight. They all feel pretty pants, right? So next up, some seemingly other innocent words. The word try. Now these three little letters can be a signifier that there is a hidden uncertainty or doubt. When we say I try, often it means we're not fully committing. Let's try these on for size, these phrases. I'll try harder next week. I tried to listen to my body. I'm trying as hard as I can. And do you notice how these words, they leave room for excuses? They allow us an out when things don't go as planned. And it's almost like they can set us up for failure before we even begin, because we're really saying to our brain that it doesn't really matter. It's the equivalent of a, yeah, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. So when you're looking back and are doing a curious and kind assessment of your day, it may feel better to say, I tried. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure that you did actually try. This is not about, it's not a moral statement about whether you did or you didn't. But did you actually really do the thing that you said you were going to do? Because that's really more of a yes or a no. And if by saying try, it softens it so much that you're then not really learning or growing from the yes or the no, then that could be hosing your process because you're in your process and your progress, because you're not really learning for that experience. Now, I'm all for giving ourselves some grace, for showing ourselves some love, but actually also sometimes it can be loving to be honest with ourselves. But of course, that honesty does not have to come with judgment and a beat down to ourselves. It's just about loving, honest curiosity, taking ownership, did or I didn't do something. Now, some other obvious ones, I guess they are anyway. I can't, or impossible. How does the saying go? It's not impossible because the word itself even says, I am possible. Trying to think who was credited for that. Wasn't it Audrey Hepburn, maybe? I think is often seen on the memes. But any automatic thoughts such as these, they could be limiting your possibilities and discouraging you from new things. They can be really telling about your underlying beliefs. And as we know, if you believe everything that you think, then that is what will ultimately come true. So if you are thinking, I can't lose weight at my age, It's impossible for me to find the time. I can't be body positive and want to lose weight. Nope, 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 and nope. All not true unless you choose to believe them. So once I was very guilty of back in the day, especially when playing the blame game, of using some other words, always and never. Couple of solid words that can get you really tied up tighter than a duck's behind. And why would you even get as far as trying if always and her sister never are in the house? They can feel very, very true, and they can leave us feeling very, very constricted, and they can also lead to us shutting down on possibilities. And if you're trying, or if you're playing the blame game with someone else, they're likely to start with you. You always. Do they really always do whatever it is that we're about to accuse them of? Or maybe a you never. You never take the bins out. You never do the dishes. You never do anything I want to do. I certainly may have said a few of those in my time. And if you can focus on the solutions, though, rather than blame, this could perhaps be leading to better outcomes. So again, your words have all these power and have the control of the power over you, your relationships with yourself, your relationships with others. And how does this show up in your well-being journey? Maybe they are, again, always and never, perhaps all coupled up, all cozy with a have to and a like. I always have to move my body, or perhaps I never have time to move my body. Maybe it is, I will never be able to do X like such and such a person. So I'll never be able to change my body like Joe Bloggs. And you're telling your mind that it's not possible. So then it goes around looking for all the reasons why it can't happen rather than how it can. And this would be contributing to your sabotage. Next up, another really strong word, hate. Hate is a strong, strong word in my book. It even feels harsh. Hate, short and sharp. And if this is directed towards ourselves, inwards, or on our journey, or something that may help your journey, it could be perpetuating negativity and self-criticism. And so, like any of the words that I've shared, do you really believe them? So, for example, if you'd spoken to me about vegetables years ago, I would have said, I hate them. I hate vegetables. It easily rolled off my tongue without me giving it a thought. I believed it was true, as clear as the pink hair on my head. Then I really realised when doing my thought work how this was an out and out lie. I didn't hate vegetables at all, but I had said it so much. Probably it started as a kid at some point to try and get myself out of eating vegetables that I'd actually gaslit myself into not liking something. And I actually then avoided them as a result. I also said the same thing about exercise. I hate exercise, but it's also not true. It may not have been my favourite thing, but I didn't hate it. Hate is just too strong a word, and there's loads of ways I love to move my body. And maybe, maybe you recognise that you say a few of these things too. And I know that it's not true as well by the fact that I say that I hate vegetables. I just had a big plate of vegetables for my dinner and I absolutely loved them. Anyway, there's so many ways that we can work on our thoughts and observe with love the language that we use. So let's end with some more phrases that might be a little bit more beneficial, because ultimately negative attracts more negative, positives attract more positive. So rather than I don't know, I wish, or if only, because these are things that can limit you as well. So again, rather than using those and shutting down your possibility, what if next time you catch yourself saying them, for example, you, instead of saying I don't know, you said, well, if I had to guess? Or what if rather than saying I wish, you said, how can I? And what if rather than saying if only, you said I can? And these are just little micro shifts, and they've got tremendous power and can help you to, again, take control with love of your life, your weight loss and your well-being. So as you know from other shows, I'm on a mission to help you ditch life and diet drama to find food and life freedom. And I want to help you to do this with my AAA way process. So I want to help you to transform from the inside out and to get to the root of where change needs to happen, which is your beliefs and your thoughts. Everything you do and don't do, the actions, the inactions, the results are all due to your beliefs and your thoughts. And they then lead into your emotions, leading into your actions and your results. And we can unlock these with the AAA way method, with just The 3 easy words, just a reminder of them again: awareness, action, and accountability. And this framework really can help you break free. So let's start with awareness. Becoming aware of the disempowering words that you use is your first step to transformation. About shining a light on those words that have been hiding in the shadows of your subconscious. It's like turning a spotlight on in a dark room. Suddenly you can see everything clearly. And so then by acknowledging those words that you use, you can then bring them to your conscious awareness. And that act alone is incredibly empowering. And once you're aware of the words that you use, you can then step into action. So this is where you're going to turn your newfound awareness into a catalyst for change. So instead of succumbing to those disempowering words, you're going to try and catch them, bin them, change them, up-level them for more empowering ones. So for example, again, when you catch yourself saying should, replace it with a choose to. This simple shift, the change in the narrative, changes it from obligation to choice, and it feels so much better. It's a small action, but it can make a big, big difference. Similarly, when you feel the weight of a I have to or a must, try substituting them with want to and choose to. Because again, this is a reframe. It puts us more in control of our decisions. And again, that feels better. It feels more empowering. And then maybe you go to use the word try. And again, it's got that hidden uncertainty. So try swapping it out for will or I am. So when you say I will, you're making a commitment, not just a half-hearted attempt. I am going to. I will do. And let's not forget hate. Again, when this word creeps in, why not replace it with prefer or would rather or I can? So instead of I hate exercise, for example, it would be a case of saying I can find an enjoyable way to move my body. And again, we've got the I need. So that can be transformed into I desire again, or I'm choosing, reminding you that your well-being journey is a conscious choice, not an external demand. What about those phrases that kept us trapped in victim mode? Because again, remembering that negativity attracts negativity and positivity attracts positivity. And this isn't all as well, by the way, this isn't about toxic positivity, which is obviously when it goes to the extreme and it's disingenuine. But you will find that those shifts do just make everything start to feel much better. And like I say, it's not about obviously putting up with a load of crap in your life. It's just about watching the language, playing about with it and seeing, how it helps. So again, for those moments where you want to say, I don't know, or if only, ... whatever it might be, replace them with I'm curious. If I had to guess, how can I? I'm working towards. And these alternatives, again, instill more of a sense of curiosity in your journey. And we all know I loves me a little bit of curiosity and I loves me a little bit of super sleuthing. But ultimately, then you have the magic sauce that binds it all together, this continuous process, this continuous choice to live a life of food and life freedom. And that's where, again, your accountability then comes in. And it's about holding yourself responsible for the language that you use and the choices that you make with love. So let's talk about a little bit, as we're starting to round up, the thought work in practice. So let's bring back, for good measure, my hypothetical client, Jane. Jane, she's all of us, but yet none of us. She's a busy working mum in her late 30s today. She struggled with her views on her body since she had kiddos. The way she used to work on weight loss just doesn't seem to work anymore. She used to do keto. She used to be able to go out running. She just can't seem to get back into the swing of it. She's tried Weight Watchers, Slimming World, but they all felt restrictive. She's super busy juggling a career in marketing and experiencing the all too familiar mum guilt when she's working long hours. She tries to do all the kids' club, goes to do all the reading. She tries to keep her shit together, but she's stretched thin, really, really thin. She's shitting all over herself. I shouldn't have let myself go like this. I have to do more. I'll never be thin again. Weight loss is just too hard. Life is too hard. I just want to be able to eat chocolate without gaining 5 pounds just by bloody looking at it. This sucks. I suck. Typical thought process. Certainly one I've had, like I say, many a time. So Jane's really quite a bit of me and my life experiences. But let's say after listening to today's show, Jane does the challenge I set earlier. So she starts to jot down and notice what she says and how she says it. Maybe she starts to use the TLC method that I've shared before and I teach in the membership to shift some of those thoughts. Maybe she grabs a backstage pass and starts to dip into other tools that are in there, like the flipping the script one or some of the mind injury lessons. And before you know it, Jane's shifting in her language. She's starting to say things like, I choose to make time for my well-being. It was a simple change, but it made all the difference. Instead of feeling forced into self-care, she begins to see it as a conscious choice. And so again, Jane now actively goes looking for moments in her busy schedule to prioritize her well-being, setting a healthy example for herself, for others in her environment, her colleagues, her children, her partner, parents, neighbor Joe Blogs down the street, whoever it might be. And she's gone from thinking I can't and it's not possible to it bloody well is possible. And she starts to say, I'm figuring it out. I can achieve my goals. It's absolutely possible to regain my fitness and balance my health. And she feels empowered. And those words fuel her determination. And she feels good. She's not taking any extreme measures because she doesn't need to. She's reconnecting in with her body. She's connecting in with her mind. She's regaining her confidence. And mentally, she feels stronger. And she notices that work starts to get a little bit easier too. The mindset tools that she's been using for her well-being start to show up in the workplace. She doesn't feel frazzled like she used to. And she starts to enjoy her job a little more. She used to have periods of feeling burnout, but now she feels like she's in control more and more each day. And her relationship starts to improve. So those around her, again, start to notice her shifting and changing for the better. She's happier. She's enjoying life as she feels like she's working smarter, not harder, yet still moving forward towards her goals. And she's feeling amazing after hustling for years and trying to stay ahead of the curve. And she's starting to feel more connected to those around her. And because the inner dialogue's changed, so has the outer dialogue, because she's portraying more positivity. So she's attracting more positivity back. And then she starts to notice the ripple effect as she's then touching other people with the light of her words instead of dimming hers and the light around her. And again, she starts to feel more peace. She starts to feel more joy, and she starts to feel wee, just like Dobby with his socks. So I'm going to leave you on this positive note. I'm going to leave you pondering that and say that this brings us to an end of another episode of the Wellness for Women show. And I trust that this has given you some food for thought about the power of your words, how they can have an impact on you, how they can have an impact on those around you and your life journey. And just imagine, what if you could change, again, your life just by a few simple tweaks of language here and there, and how much better you might feel, how you would show up in your relationship with food, with life, with yourself. Because you have the power, as usual, right now to decide, do you from this moment on want to seek and choose words that uplift you, that inspire you and propel you towards your goals? Whether it's replacing that should with the choose to, or the have to with the want to, these words could help you to shape your reality. And of course, if you're ready to take the next step, if you want to be more like Jane, don't forget to check out the description box. Have a look at how you can work with me, how you can grab the WorkSafe Pass membership, how you could look to sign up for workshops, events, or obviously take on some personalized coaching or belief coding. There's literally something for everyone there. So as I said at the start, leave me your takeaways wherever you are catching this, whether you're watching it live, whether you're watching it on replay, podcast, or YouTube. Let me know what's going on. What are you going to do about the words that are coming up for you? I will look on them and come back and circle back around and answer them. And until next week, I will see you then. So bye for now.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget, if you want to boost your life and weight loss the AAA way, check out the relevant links for today's show in the description. Speak soon.